All right, welcome to the Bert LaMar show. This is my launching day of the Bert LaMar show. I'm going to be bringing the podcast weekly, um, sharing. I'll go over today my background. It's not about an ego thing, but I just want to share the credibility and the experience because that's mainly what we're going to be sharing and talking about. And then I want to go over what the show is going to be based about. And then third would be today's topic, which is the 10-year dream, which is, I think, what drives it all. Jake, come back here. You're not in the shot. This is Jakey Poo. And then we'll kind of recap what's going on. Okay. So thanks for joining. Um, Sit back and here we go. I hope you have a good drink or something healthy. I got my green spinach spirulina drink going. Okay, so my background. Um, I am 60 this month, just turned 60, or actually last month in December. And at age 11, I became one of the youngest professional skateboarders, a vert skateboarder, and vert meaning pools and ramps. And I was fortunate enough to have a career in skateboarding from 11 to probably about 16, 17. And that was the foundation of my life lessons for sponsors, career, marketing, sports. I learned so much. And a big part of that is from my mother, sharing a lot of her time and knowledge, and my dad supporting that, and family and friends. And I'm going to go through that. That'll probably be a whole episode of what I call go and suck and learn, fail and learn. So at a young age, I was a professional skateboarder. Eventually, just in the last few years, was nominated into the Hall of Fame. This is the big trophy. Oh, so 2022 inductee to the Skateboarding Hall of Fame. And then I moved from that, actually became a hairdresser for a few years, probably only about a year and a half, just not knowing what my next move was sport wise. But hair was fun and creative and something to do out of high school, which then led me to snowboarding, my next career. And in snowboarding, I was able to reach the highest level again. I became two-time world champion in half pipe snowboarding, all over the world, traveling all over the world, and was fortunate enough at that time. I was probably in my mid 20s at that point, or from 20 to 25, 26. And that led to my first real big business experience, which was LaMar Snowboards, which was a rocky road, but became a multi-million-dollar successful brand. And we're going to talk about that, branding your heart, in one of the episodes. That's where I really learned business and staying true to your core, to your heart, to your gut. And then the next phase of my life, I went from snowboarding all over the world, meeting beautiful people, following my dreams. Unfortunately, during that time, I lost my mom. Hey, you stay over here. Come here, Jakey. Jakey, come here. Jakey's gonna chill over there for a little bit. Um, so during that time, I was at the top of the snowboard world, and I'm going to go over that. Sometimes when you get to your goal, it's almost you don't know what to do next, and we'll talk about that when we talk about the 10-year dream today. So I went from skateboarding to hair to snowboarding at the highest level, and then to LaMar Snowboards. So I built a brand, and that was my first real experience of learning how to live a sport, be passionate about what you do, and develop a business. And that kind of fell apart. That got out of control. It got too big. I wasn't happy with people coming into the company, us trying to people were recommending copying designs and graphics from other brands and things. So but it was all happening for me. So I like to say life is happening for you, right, Jakey? And so I learned so much. We grew that brand to almost 15 million. We were going to go public. If that would have happened, I would have made hundreds of millions. We would have been the first snowboard company to go public. There was a big reason we didn't. Another company went snow public before us, Ride Snowboards, without really good financials and a good track record. Um, so we went another route, and that's when I kind of was over my passion for snowboarding, needing a sport, needing to be active, having that dream. Golf became the next thing. I saw the Masters on TV when I was sitting in a hotel room in Colorado, 5 feet of snow, just traveling week after week in the snow. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be a pro golfer. And within 2 or 3 years, I was close to turning pro. I almost qualified for the LA Open, and that was the beginning of my golf era. So I kind of look at things in decades, and my background looking back now has been in that. It's been like a decade of skateboarding, a decade of snowboarding, a decade of golf, and then I'll go into businesses and passion in some of the podcasts. But yeah, it was really, really wild how following my dream, I ended up developing Iliac Golf while I was turning pro at golf and hanging out with golf's greatest players, Rory McIlroy, Zach Johnson, hanging out at his house, outfitting him, playing with him, Jimmy Walker, Tiger Woods. I even made stuff for Tiger. It's pretty much following my desire to be the best golfer in the world, to be the best snowboarder, to be the best skateboarder, and then to have the best core businesses without compromise. That's where I am different than most businesses that will do anything to make a buck. I am very true to the 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 vibe, the essence, the spirit of my brand. And one wrong word, one wrong color can unravel something that you're building, something that's beautiful. So we'll talk about that as well. So we're at golf. So I went skateboarding, snowboarding, snowboard company. We threw hair in there for a little bit, and then golf, golf brand, and then reached a point. 10 years, just around 10 years with golf. I'm probably now in my late 30s, 40s, and I didn't make it on tour like the dream I set out, but I did play at the highest level. I got really close, and I was able to build a brand that sustained that lifestyle for a decade and made products and outfitted the best golfers in the world. Sat at the British Opens and Masters while guys were winning, wearing my clothing, my accessories, my designs. And then, like I said, the epiphany from golf to my next sport was just felt it. I felt I've done everything I could. I've gotten as good as I can. Business growth, ups and downs, and Ironman. That became my next dream, my vision. And I explicitly remember watching the Ironman, just like I watched the Masters when I was a snowboarder. I watched the Ironman in Hawaii. I said, okay, just naive, just confidence, just following my heart. And these things take like a year or two to happen. They don't just happen overnight. A lot of people are trying to figure out what you want to do, and I'm going to do an episode on that too. Is really listening to your heart and following it, regardless of what everyone's saying. I was talking to a friend today about that, and family shooting things down, and friends, and but if your heart is strong enough and that's what you want, you figure out a way. And we're going to talk about that, sticking true to what you really want. Life's too short to do something to live someone else's dream. So um so where are we? So we're now at the epiphany of Ironmans. And I explicitly remember, I'll have to look up and see if I still have the text, but I sent a text to Janet, my trainer. Her and her husband have been training me for, or she was training me for years, nutrition, diet, planning. I learned so much about the science and of for golf and for snowboarding. And here I go, okay, I'm going to do Ironmans. I'm going to win Ironman. That's my next dream. I've never ran, I've never been on a road bike. And I was swimming though. I was swimming for golf, which I loved. I saw the Ironman in Hawaii on TV or YouTube, and I watched the whole race, and I go, "That's fucking cool!" Like I'm doing an Ironman, and I'm thinking I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna be the best in the world. I've been at the top of skateboarding, been at the top of snowboarding, close to the top in golf, hanging out with the top. As a player, I didn't quite get there, but still, I got close, and created a brand. So multi-million dollar brands following my dream, following my passion. So now I'm thinking, Iron Man, here we go. And Janet, my trainer, when I texted her, because she actually trains skateboarders, snowboarders, golfers, all kinds of athletes. And she does a lot of athletes that do triathlons and I think some Ironmans. And I texted her that, hey, let's go. I'm ready. I want to win Ironmans. And she laughed because I had some back issues with all the golfing that I was doing and not stretching properly and not resting right. So she texted me, ha ha, with your back, there's no way you could do a road bike and you can't run like that and do that. And my instinct was, I was excited about that. I'm like, fuck no, I'm doing this and no one can tell me I can't do it. So that's just the mentality I've had my whole life. And that's something I was sharing with the friend today. Her father telling her, no, you can't do what her dream is. And I'm like, fuck yeah, use that as motivation. And it's not that they're mean or they're doing it to stop you. People do it because they love you, or maybe some people are jealous. Who knows? But whatever happened with me and Janet is it was she said there's no way you can do it. So I screenshotted her text and I started training. I found a different coach. I went to Gino, my physical therapist, and he got me with Matt Fitzgerald, who was 80/20 training, and it was great. That was the game changer in my life. We're going to go over a lot of that because 80/20 polarization training, like if I had had that skateboarding, snowboarding, golf, I would have been so rested and ready and peaking for events because that's kind of how you have to do Ironman training to not get injured, not burn out. So anyway, I did my first half Ironman in Hawaii. I was only training for 6 months, but I got ready. I went there because I wanted to just see it all. I wasn't pushing too hard, and I finished, and I got my little medal, and I screenshotted. I got a picture with the medal, and I sent it to Janet with her text of, "Hey, you can't do these," and so I love her. She's a great friend. She was looking out for me. She was probably from a science and knowing my body, thinking, you can't do that. It's going to be hard on the bike. But my physical therapist was right. Gino, my ART guy, he thought running was so much easier than golf on the body because you're just doing this. So, anyway, this is my background. I'm now in this decade of Ironman dreaming, and we're going to talk about the 10-year dream today. So, the 10-year dream drives it all. So, I'm in the middle of that now. I have this total fantasy, total dream. Whether it happens or not, I'm going to win the Kona World Championship Ironman pro level event at 60 or more. And I'm going to explain today the power of a 10-year dream. You're going to be blown away at what it's doing to me, and for my life, and how it can take all the decision work off the table, where you literally don't have to wake up every day guessing, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? It's when you really lock into the 10-year dream, everything just happens and you're just present. Imagine being present and in the moment and not making decisions for 10 years straight, and then you got to make a new decision. So anyway, finishing the Bert LaMar background, skateboarding, snowboarding, actually skateboarding, hair, snowboarding, snowboard company, LaMar Snowboards, golf, golf company, Ironman, um, Ironman company. So that's part of where I'm at now in this journey. What you're seeing here behind me is the LaMar Organic Wear brand, and I'm not gonna lie. I mean, part of the reason, there's two reasons or maybe three reasons I'm doing this podcast and sharing. One is to promote my brand, to promote LaMar Organic Wear. I am so happy that I'm creating organic active wear. And we're going to talk about that. It's a healthy lifestyle, and maybe I'll live to be 100 and won't die from PFAS or microplastics. Two is to give back and share. I feel like I realize now, thanks to my recent hero, um, what's his name? David Roach. He just set the world record in 100-mile Leadville 100-mile race at age 37. And I love, what he's saying is like, we're all going to die. You're going to die. You got to follow your dream. You got to, you know, go for it. And he shares openly all his training, all his diet work, all his science. He's one of the gnarliest coaches, athletes I've seen ever, in this really nice petite, in his words, I don't know what he calls it, but just a really chilled guy. Like, he's not a dude as he says it, but he's open. He's sharing everything, and I don't think I did that my whole life. I don't think I shared. I did share some. I guess I was helping a lot of people. Um, I actually just got interviewed for the Craig Kelly book, and I got to tears how Craig Kelly, who was 8-time world champion snowboarder, I came into the scene and I won and that right away, and became kind of 2 years in a row the new world champion in the half pipe. And there was a lot of jealousy and I thought animosity at the beginning, but in his book, and I guess through his wife or what, but he talked about how and rest in peace. He talked about how I was always there showing him that his worth was so much more, and the companies owed him more, which I learned in skateboarding. We're going to talk about that in one of the podcasts. We're going to talk about really owning your worth and knowing your worth. So so I feel like I did help people. I think that's my heart. I'm that personality. I love people and I'm not jealous, but I'm really competitive. So I feel like I probably didn't openly talk about my training plans and habits and all the details, maybe that got me to win, or succeed in business, and or to just live a healthy, happy lifestyle. I think a lot of people watched it and saw it. I have a lot of beautiful memories of people coming up to me and thanking me in the snowboard industry, in the skateboard world, and even in golf, where I've helped them, kind of find their careers and their paths in sport and work. Um, so, but now I'm going to be like, hey, like, I'm not worried about someone learning my secrets and beating me at the Ironman world. It's like we're all going to get better. We're all going to grow, and maybe what I'm sharing is accumulation of unique success. And I'm looking back and just talking about it here. It sounds almost unreal at times to talk about it. I mean, to say Hall of Fame skateboarder, world champion snowboarder, pro golfer, built companies, successful companies following those sports, multi-million dollar companies. And And in the middle of that, I created this. I worked together with a group. We created this cool finger surfboard and thing, like the tech deck skateboards that shot up to, I don't know, 60 million, to stupid numbers by just following uh, opportunities, being opportunistic, and in my circles and in those worlds. So that's pretty much where I'm at now in career life, health wise. I chose Ironman this last, or not last, but this decade. First of all, because I felt like I did everything I could in golf, and what's the healthiest, most beautiful sport. And triathlons, actually, Janet's husband, I remember she made a comment. He's like, why would you want to go right to Ironmans? And I'm like, I don't want to do a triathlon in the city. Like, that doesn't look cool. Running in Kona in the freaking 90-degree heat with the wind and the hills and the beach on the side, that's fucking insane. I was like, and it looks ridiculous to do that for 7.5, 8 hours at full, high heart rate. And these guys developed into a machine. I'm like, that's the healthiest sport I can pick at 50 or 55, actually, when I started. So 5 years ago. And yeah, so I'm falling in love with it. I was never a runner, never a biker, barely a swimmer, and now I'm every day swimming, biking, running. And you'll hear how the dream is driving me. I can't wait to share the 10-year dream. I think it's going to be the first episode, and I think it's going to be the greatest episode for for you. I think it'll really change your life. So that's where I'm at. I'm launching an organic clothing line. I'm doing Ironmans, and I'm following my 10-year dream of winning the world championship in Kona, uh, and getting not just the medal, but a trophy and money and all that goes with it, and probably being the oldest human in the world to do it. Um, and there might be no chance of me doing this. I might be so far off, but I'm going for that. Like, that's the goal. I'm pushing father clock back, father time back, like David Roach says. Follow his podcast. This guy and his wife are so amazing. They're both like the most knowledgeable coaches and following the science, but they also are doing it as athletes. And that's where I've been doing it. And I've really dove into the science and the depth and the studies and the research. And while I'm talking about that, I'll share one bit of research that helped me pick Ironmans. And I read an article, some research was done on over a long period of time, because running and swimming have been around for years. So this is a great study. I'll have to look up who did it, but it was over 20 years. And they looked at the bone density of runners and swimmers, and the runners, who people have been running for 20 years plus, have a much denser bone, stronger bone, healthier bones from the pounding of the running. So we'll talk about a lot of this lactic threshold and the science in glycogen, and the biggest thing in endurance sports now is calories and carb loading. So I love the nerdy part of it, but I don't let it guide me. Just like I'm spiritual and I believe in the universe and things, but I don't let it guide me. I'm not going to get up and go, oh shoot, it's a retrograde moon, I'm not going to race. Like, I'm doing my thing. The 10-year dream drives it all. And I don't have to make any decisions, because I that one big decision of the 10-year dream. So I don't know if this is way out there for you guys, but this is this is the mentality that I've had my whole life, and I'm sharing it with you through the Bert LaMar show. It's going to be I'm going to try to keep up with, we're doing 4 episodes right now, and we're going to try to keep up with weekly. Whew, that's going to be a lot. So, but some very cool uh, stuff. Oh, what's going on with my phone or with the camera here? Let's see. We've got, let's see. Okay, we're still there. Um, let me get a drink here. Yeah, so this is exciting for me. I was thinking about it all day today on my bike. I did a bike this morning, and I've been planning it. I've got some friends in the marketing world, and um, I'm not putting all the emphasis in a big studio and a bunch of cameras. I don't even know if I'm going to interview people. I think I'm just going to keep sharing my challenges, my experience, and I'm going to really open up and be vulnerable to everything in life, um, and how sport and the dream can really solve a lot of that. Being healthy, being hydrated, resting. It's such a microcosm of life, and I got that word from Tiger Woods. Golf was a microcosm of life. I used to make references when something's going shitty, when the product's broken or not working, can't deliver. I'm like, okay, it's just like a triple bogey. Let's get back to the next hole and try to birdie it and just move forward. And those kind of mindsets and uh, what you learn from your sport really help you with business, family, relationships, and your own health and heart. And they help your sport. So Ironman is cool because it's really pushing the limits. I just did a half Ironman 4 days ago on New Year's Eve, and and it was brutal. I wanted to quit. My legs were locking. It was raining. It was cold. It was getting dark. I started late. um, I did it solo because I wanted to stay on track. So the dream's driving me. We're going to talk about that. So the first episode will be the 10-year dream, and it's probably the most important thing you'll ever do in your life is pick that dream, and it can't be chosen because someone tells you to do it, because your family wants you to do it, your friends, your husband, your wife, anyone. It's got to come from your heart and your soul, and you really got to feel it. And you're going to feel it, and you're going to feel it sometimes like after a big run or a surf or a skate or a great night with a friend. You're going to feel this like super confidence, like, oh my God, this is what I want to do. I'm going to be the fucking world's best fencer or skateboarder or Ironman or whatever. And then the next day you're kind of like, no, I can't do that. But you can't listen to that. You have to listen to the wow, the epiphany, the heartfelt drive of the 10-year dream. Because that's what children do. And that's what everyone's trying to do. They lose their inner child to become this complacent, corporate, boring, listening, doing for other humans. And that's just not Bert LaMar. That's never been me. And I probably owe that to my mother and father, who would always, whatever I would tell my mom, she's like, go do it. You better go do it. Life's short. Um, I think I remember telling her I was in love with this girl, Lisa, at like 17. She's like, why don't you marry her? I'm like, whoa. But that's how she was, even dealing with cancer. She's like, you're next. Like, life's short. What do you want to do? I'm like, well, I think I want to continue being a professional snowboarder. You better go do it. Go do it. And I did. I spent 3 years straight on the road, in France, living in Europe, competing all over the world, and building LaMar snowboards, because I'm committed to the dream. So, uh, and it can be safe. You can have a dream and you can have a day job, so you feel safe enough to jump on over and be a full-time Ironman or a full-time whatever, ballet dancer, skateboarder, surfer, golfer, whatever it is. Um, but that's the next episode. This is who I am. I would love to see your comments and thoughts, kind of help me shape the podcast. I'm going to be bringing this to you weekly. I'm going to try to launch them. We have 4 episodes coming out every Monday morning. I think 7 a.m. PST time is when they're planning to launch them. And yeah, that's a wrap for the Bert LaMar Show, episode 1. Thank you so much for watching. Jake's taking a nap over here, and he says, thank you for being here, and we will see you at episode 2, the 10-year dream. Get ready. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I can't wait to hear about your 10-year dreams. And again, part of my reason, Lamar Organic Wear, check it out. It's lamarorganicwear.com. Everything is uh, purely organic, nature certified organic. It took me years to develop it, and I'm dyeing it with plants and vegetables. These are coffee and tea stain dyed. These are indigo flower dyed. So check that out. Um, just DM me for the code. Actually, I'll make the code here, so you can use the Bert Lamar Show 15, and that'll give you 15 off your purchases, your first purchases at Lamar Organic Wear. So thank you, and we'll see you next Monday.